Hi there, I'm Bill Metcalf, your host for this Journey of Faith, the remarkable story of Kari Olsen, who was struggling through difficult kidney dialysis for over 3 years, when a story of her need for a new kidney ran in her local paper. Within just a few days, 8 people from her church stepped forward and offered to undergo major surgery to give Kari one of their kidneys. Kari's story is really several stories in one. The miracle of modern medicine, the selflessness of real friends, and the need for organ donors. But the most compelling story, I believe, is the one of Kari's faith in her Creator to guide and protect her throughout her ordeal. I was so touched by Kari's story that I wanted to help her share her story with others. This is certainly a time when all of us on this little planet of ours could use a big dose of faith. No matter what your spiritual beliefs happen to be, I believe we can all take heart from Kari and maybe take a moment to ask ourselves, what would it mean to me if I had such a powerful belief? For religious organizations, perhaps the time has come to help regular, everyday people publish their stories of faith so that we can all enjoy some positive messages among the myriad of negative ones that ourselves and our children seem to be bombarded with daily. Now, on to our story.
My name is Kari Olsen. I am retired, although I did graduate from the University of National Louis when I was 60 years old with a degree in social science. Well, my kidneys just stopped functioning, and I know by now there are 2 dried up small walnuts on the back of my back. But the thing is, in front, I have a living kidney, and I'm now 66 years old, and my kidney is 49. There was a woman in our church. She was a journalist from the Oak Leaf newspaper, and I had never talked to Charlotte. But that Sunday I met her outside of church, and I asked if she would write just a little article about me needing a kidney. And she said, well, Kari, I will come over and talk to you at your condominium. And then that appeared in the newspaper, and from there I got 8 adults from our church who wanted to give me one of their kidneys. The first 2 women came to Harry at church, and then he came over. I was sitting with a different table having my coffee, and he said, Kari, 2 women wants to give you a kidney each. And I started to cry, and that's the first time I cried because I was so overwhelmed over the love that they showed. But then I ended up with 8 people altogether, and it just came like one by one and said, oh, I would like to give me one of your kidneys. My surgeon would do it with blood only because the medication is such nowadays that you do not have to have tissue match. So then Lee was number 2, and his blood and mine are both 8+. And then he started with his testing, and there was page after page of different tests, with the blood and everything. So like by the time he was finished, Cheryl, his wife, knew that he was in tip-top shape. He has 2 children, one son that is now a junior in college, and his daughter is a sophomore. Well, he did think about that, but then he thought, no, our church has 250 members, so his children, if they should need it, will have more than enough kidneys to choose from. People really just needs a quarter of a kidney, but it has to be a healthy quarter, and you can live on a quarter. So really 2 kidneys is in a way 1 too many, but maybe God wanted it there for a spare and maybe to give away or, I must say when I was going into a surgery, I was praying to Jesus, and I said, Dear Jesus, and I saw him in my mind. I saw his hair and I saw his cape. And then I said, put your healing hands on me, because his hands was over me, and they were steady, and they were just beautiful, strong hands. And then the very next thing I hear is, oh, wake up, it's over. And I just feel that it was a miracle that the anesthesiologist did not give me that last dosage to go to sleep before I had finished my prayer. So when I woke up, I was deliriously happy. The doctors came in and said, how are you doing? Oh, I'm fine. I was always a fine woman. Now I'm finer than fine. And, I was so full of God's love, I can't explain it. And then one surgeon or one of the doctors came in. He was from Spain, and he goes, well, Mrs. Olsen, you are on a lot of steroids. And then he had his hand by his head, and he was like raising it from his head up and down. He said, you know, your mind is not clear. Oh, yes, doctor, I said, I am finer than fine. Then he petted my head and he said, yes, you are fine. The story with the steroids are that a lot of patients, they do cry, you know, uncontrollably. There's crying maybe during the night, during the day. And I had read about that, and I decided, well, I don't want to do that. And when it came to the medication, I had read about side effects. And for every one, I said, oh, I don't want this, I don't want that. And I have not had any side effects of anything. I had no fears of it because to me everything was in God's hands. And then Lee, in the article that went into the Oak Leaves after our surgery, he said that I loved Kari and what else could I do but to give her one of my kidneys. So that was what he felt. And I was just so grateful. And I just keep saying thank you. And then Cheryl kept saying, oh, you keep saying thank you all the time. One time is enough. No, I don't. And see, like now he liked, I think it is a glass of vodka. And I kept thinking, do I want to start liking vodka because I don't drink? But I have no inkling for that. And I don't have any feeling that I am him in any way. It's like this is my kidney. Lee has his kidney. And we are both fine. And it's like sometimes I even now forget that I had a kidney transplant, because it is just in my body and it is mine, because he gave it to me unconditionally. Well, I thank him every day for giving me a new day to live in. And I say a new day to live in, to learn in, to love in, and to do his will. And I'm just so grateful every day. A person should not be afraid. If there's something that is wrong, a person should try all he can to have it taken care of. And then just have faith in God that everything will go right. What I learned when I went to dialysis in the last 2 years, I would pray in the car. Harry was driving. I prayed inside on myself. I would thank God for giving me this new day to live in. But if today is the day you want me home with you in heaven, I'm ready. And that was what I said when I went in for every surgery. On a gurney, I would say that to myself, and I was ready every time to go to heaven. And then I woke up down here and was just as happy. And before my transplant the last Sunday, then Pastor Carla, she had Lee and I up in front, and then the deacons were up there, and they laid their hands on us, and they prayed for us. And then someone said, I hope you will have good surgery, Kari. I said, oh, I know I will, because if I die and go to heaven, I know I'll be fine. And if I wake up here on earth, I will be fine. Then they said, you will have a good surgery. Because I wanted people in church to understand that you are not going through the valley of death, because God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit is with you all the way.